This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Great song. Doobie Brothers, listen to the music. And, you know, all those rockers they're suffering hearing loss. I mean, being on stage for all those years and not having any hearing protection. So we're speaking with Dr. Ted Venema. He's an audiologist and our guest. And NexGenHearing has the option for you to go in there, get a free hearing test, also 21-day introductory hearing aid listening experience. And then after that, you can adjust or change and get a guarantee of the exact hearing aids that you need up to another 69 days, a total of 90 days.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. I mean,
you
don't get to test drive a car for 90
days
you don't.
And
see if you like
it. The purpose is to, A, get the person accustomed to wearing hearing aids, waiting in the pool, or, gradually, and also for readjustments if necessary, because hearing aids often require the slight retailoring readjustment. Remember, it's the inner ear itself that is damaged. It's like me going up to someone and going against the back of your eyeballs. Now go ahead and wear your glasses.
Yeah,
it's a little different from optometry.
Yeah.
It's different that way. So hearing aids have a harder task, but still they sure can help.
Once you dial them in to where they're comfortable for that person. So, we talked about the stubborn person that I don't have a problem, and then the kids or the husband or the wife or the aunt or uncle finally gets them in, gets them tested, gets them fitted, and gets them comfortable. What do they usually say? I should have come earlier? Or,
usually.
Yep,
usually, because research has shown, and it's commonly known research, people wait 5 to 7 years after they could have been wearing hearing aids when they finally do get them. People have put that decision on the shelf for over half a decade, and they could have been benefiting much earlier had they only been open-minded enough to try it.
And you were mentioning they're so tiny now, and you couldn't, if you were wearing one today and here, I would never notice. How do they charge them? How do you take them out at night?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You go in a little dock?
Just like your glasses. They run on little tiny batteries. You can see those in the drugstores when you go, hearing aid batteries. Little, they're just like a pill in size. They just shove the battery in. Some hearing aids are rechargeable. Some have rechargeable features. But yeah, you take them out at night. You set them by wherever you put your glasses if you were using glasses. And some people wear the hearing aids because they've got severe hearing loss and they've got to wear hearing aids in order to hear. Other people with mild to moderate hearing loss will wear them like I would have these eyeglasses here. They'll wear them when they need them.
Right.
But
so if it's like you said, somebody one-on-one might be okay.
Yeah.
And then it's when they get into a larger group.
Yes.
So maybe they won't wear them in the house. If at one-on-one they seem okay.
Yeah.
It's when they'll put them in when they need to.
Yeah, and to get used to hearing aids, I mean, this sounds like an old saw, but I have my clients actually read aloud to themselves for 5 or 10 minutes a day with the hearing aids in the ears.
Because when
to get used to the sound of
well, if you've ever, like a kid, you would go in the bath and you'd go underwater and you'd make noise and you hear your own voice through your skull and through the water.
Sure.
So is that kind of the sensation? You're hearing, you're amplifying even your own voice a bit, right?
To some degree. Yeah. You don't want to hear your own voice too loud, and of course all these adjustments are made to get rid of that. Okay, you want the sound quality to be as natural as possible, but that said, the person who's never worn hearing aids before is going to be hearing sounds that he or she has never heard in a long time.
Right.
And you need to get used to it. And so you wade into the pool gradually. And that's what we do when fitting hearing aids. We readjust as you've become accustomed to them. We encourage you to keep a diary of how things are going. The hearing aids themselves, by the way, have data logging. They know what you've done with them in terms of volume. They know what we are watching you, yeah?
Well, I guess it's the same as braces. Yeah. You wouldn't put braces on a kid and then crank them up, right?
Exactly.
You adjust them every month or whatever it is.
Look at it like that, exactly. It's a good analogy.
Yeah. Okay, now the one thing is you're losing your hearing. You have the trouble with trouble, your age-related hearing loss, or you have accelerated hearing loss due to environmental. So you're losing your treble, and you need to amplify that. Is having a hearing aid boosting that volume to your hearing accelerating that at some
No,
point?
it's a great question. I'm glad you've asked that. Hearing aids have, just like go-karts have, a governor on it. You can only go so far.
Right.
We know what causes permanent noise-induced hearing loss.
Right.
Hearing aids have a mandatory loudness ceiling that they cannot amplify above. The idea, see, when you've got hearing loss due to the inner ear, let me give you an analogy. Your floor of hearing sensitivity is raised. You can't hear 0 decibels anymore. It now takes you 50 decibels to hear. But still, 100 decibels, your ceiling is still too loud.
Right.
So it's like your dynamic range, your decibel distance from, see, if I've got normal hearing, I can hear from 0 decibels up to 100 decibels. When I've got inner ear hearing loss, like 95% of people have, now it's like I'm standing on a table, but the ceiling hasn't gotten any higher.
Right.
I can't hear until it's 50 decibels, and yet 100 is still too loud.
Right.
So hearing aids have to amplify soft sounds by a lot. They've got to amplify average sounds by less. And they've got to amplify loud sounds by little or nothing at all. So hearing aids are constantly sampling or measuring the intensity or the loudness of incoming sounds. And if I'm speaking really softly, the hearing aid's amplifying by a lot. If I start to raise my voice louder, the hearing aid automatically backs
you would
off.
get that dynamic range when you're watching a movie in a movie theater.
Yeah.
There's very loud scenes and quiet scenes, and your hearing aid will compensate for that.
It won't amplify the loud ones, and it will amplify the soft ones.
Interesting.
That partly explains why hearing aids cost more than glasses do.
Sure.
By the way.
Yeah.
Because think of an amplifier.
There's a little computer in there,
Yeah,
right?
that's yes, there's a computer in there. It's constantly changing the volume for you. You're not adjusting the volume. It's doing that for you.
Yeah, so the old ones where you used to stick your finger behind
Yes.
it. Now those kind of,
You don't see that anymore.
they're gone, huh?
Volume controls on hearing aids are barely existent. You can get them, but hearing aids for the most part are adjusting the volume by themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So common mistakes people make in our last few minutes here about their ears.
Yeah.
You know, sticking things in your ear, cleaning your ears. Like, I mean, people who have wax in their ears, they often want to get in there and root it out. But the natural way is to just let it come out on its own, right?
Q-tips are stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? Your doctor has said years ago, never put anything in your ear smaller than your elbow. True. Because all you're doing is cramming wax further in.
Right.
See, earwax grows on the outer half of your ear canals. In men who have hairy ear canals, okay, that's where wax grows. When you take a Q-tip, you're just shoving it further in.
Sure.
Not good.
So the water syringe is
That's a good
fine?
method. Warm water, get a water syringe from the drugstore, get some wax loosener.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy that over the counter at the drugstore. Follow the rules and be good to yourself. Your ear canal's only an inch long. I mean, you have to be careful. You know, it's just, you have to be really, really careful.
What about parents with children or, or grandparents listening to this, kids who have ear infections? So should they, like sometimes people they don't want to get their kids on antibiotics. So what do you say to that? Like, so it's something you shouldn't let go too long.
No, you shouldn't. Ear infections are not caused in the outer ear canal. They are caused in the middle ear, which is a little, where the bones are, the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. That little chamber communicates with the back of your throat.
And that's where the eustachian tube is, right?
You get sore tonsils, swollen tonsils, or throat infection. It grows up that eustachian tube to the middle ears, and that's what becomes infected. 3 choices of treatment. Antibiotics, we're becoming immune to them. Sometimes a surgeon will make a little slice in the ear canal and will put a little tube in the ear canal to allow it to breathe, have air.
Yeah.
And the third choice is actually what we used to get, us baby boomers. I'm 60. I know this is what was done when I was a kid. Get your tonsils ripped out. And that's what they do. Tonsillectomies are becoming more common today than they used to be. In the 60s, they were very common. Then came the age of tubes and antibiotics, and now tonsillectomies are becoming more common again, because the tonsils absorb bacteria. That's what they're for. But in our society, with all our genetically modified foods and the crap that we eat, it's not the wholesome wheat grains of our farmer ancestors of yore. So we eat a lot of junk, okay? And a lot of
Not me. It's other people.
No, it's other people, of course. Yeah.
So we have a minute left. With somebody who is maybe thinking they're there and they need to get a hearing tested and get a hearing aid, or somebody that's been battling with someone to try and get them. What's your last piece of advice you've got a minute. Off you go, Dr. Ted.
You've got absolutely nothing to lose.
Right.
Why? Your hearing loss is more conspicuous than your hearing aids. Check it out. I mean, if you're getting questions from your significant others and loved ones around you, if you're starting to miss things at parties and you're missing pieces of conversation,
and you're asking to repeat things,
just get the facts, Jack. Get a hearing test. You're not going to put a nickel down.
Yeah.
Find out the facts. And no, they're not out there to rip you off. Hearing aids are not used car salesmen that are out there to rip you off. They're hearing healthcare professionals trained formally in college programs and university programs. They're like a nurse or an optician. They're not out there to rip you off. Get yourself seen. Get yourself checked.
That's great advice. And as you may have heard through the show, NexGen, they have free hearing tests.
Yep.
And then you have the 21-day introductory hearing aid listening experience, followed by a 69-day trial. So there's really a whole lot upside and not much downside.
You could get a hearing test done at NexGen, and if you're suspicious, you could go to another place and get the hearing test done. I'll bet you'd hold them up no match. I mean, a fact is a fact.
That's good advice. NexGenHearing, our guest has been Dr. Ted Venema. It's been wonderful talking to you. Very entertaining.
It's been fun talking to you, too.
It's been a lot of fun, and we'll have you back again. BoomerLife on CL650. I'm Zach Spencer. We'll speak to you next time.